Good morning. There is no longer any doubt that Joe Biden is unfit to be our commander-in-chief. The Biden White House, far-left House Democrats, and the mainstream media are in complete disarray because they know this to be true and have been caught participating in one of the greatest media cover-ups in American history. For the last 3.5 years, House Republicans and the American people have been demanding details about Joe Biden's mental and physical decline. But every time we raise these legitimate concerns, far-left Democrats and their loyal stenographers in the mainstream media rushed to Biden's defense, claiming that the clearly diminished Joe Biden was as sharp as ever and accusing us of peddling conspiracy theories. The cover-up is over and accountability is here. For years, House Republicans have known that Joe Biden is unfit for office. We also know that he will go to any lengths to maintain his grip on power. This is why it is so crucial that we take every possible measure to ensure that the 2024 presidential election is free from election interference and is constitutional. As part of that ongoing effort, House Republicans are bringing to the floor this week Congressman Chip Roy's Safeguard American Voter Eligibility Act, which requires individuals to provide proof of citizenship when registering to vote in federal elections. Not surprisingly, the Biden White House, whose far-left open border agenda has let in millions, over 10 million illegal immigrants, is against our bill. This is a very simple and logical concept rooted in the Constitution. Only American citizens should vote in American elections. Also this week, House Republicans are moving Mary Miller's CRA to stop Joe Biden's radical efforts to roll back women's rights and change Title IX to allow biological men to access women and girls' bathrooms, locker rooms, and sports. Next week, we are looking forward to uniting in Milwaukee behind President Donald J. Trump's America First agenda, which created the greatest economy in generations, the securest border in modern history, the lowest gas prices in years, and peace through strength around the world. With that, we're honored to be joined by Chip Roy, who is leading the SAVE Act this week on the floor. Chip.
Well, I want to thank Chairwoman Stefanik. I want to thank the entire Republican leadership team, particularly the Speaker. Republicans are united. We are united behind a simple notion that I think at least 81% of Americans, maybe as high as 87%, depending on which poll you look at, believe in a simple concept, that only American citizens should vote in American elections, as Elise just said. Not surprisingly, our Democrat colleagues, in particular the President, yesterday in his statement of administration policy, take a different view. They don't believe that we should require only citizens vote. Our legislation is very simple. It's already unlawful, as our Democratic colleagues like to point out, for non-citizens to vote. But unfortunately, we don't have a mechanism for ensuring that that is the case because the courts have interpreted the law to prevent that. So our legislation simply fixes that. Our legislation provides for ample avenues for American citizens to be able to vote. In no way will Americans' right to vote be hampered, but instead we will ensure the integrity of our elections by requiring that we have documentary proof of citizenship to vote. Like, this is simple. You either want to preserve and protect what it means to be a citizen in the United States and preserve and protect this great country and do what the vast majority of Americans want to do, and that's what Republicans want to do, or you go down the path that our Democrat colleagues want to go down, which is to try to continue to prop up open borders and the efforts to, frankly, undermine the integrity of the elections by allowing people to vote who have no business voting and making the decisions for our country. I'm really proud of the work that Republicans have done on this. This is very simple, and I think the American people will see it for exactly what it is. Republicans who want to stand on the side of the average, hardworking American family who simply wants their country back. That's what this legislation does, and we'll see what happens on the floor of the House. I hope all Republicans will support it. I expect they will, and we'll see what Democrats do in the face of a president who clearly is standing against the will of the American people, that only citizens should vote.
Thanks, Chip. It's a big week for House Democrats. They have to figure out what they're going to do about Joe Biden, who recently proved to the world what Republicans have been saying now for years. He's not fit to be president. And they have to twist themselves into a pretzel to explain why they're advocating for letting illegal immigrants vote in our elections. Let us be clear. Only American citizens should have a say in American elections. It's sad that today's Democrat Party has gone so far that this needs to be clarified. No amount of spin changes the fact that Congressman Chip Roy's SAVE Act, which I'm proud to co-sponsor, is simple. It protects American citizens' right to vote by requiring proof of citizenship for voter registration and the removal of non-citizens from voter rolls. Safeguarding our elections should not be a partisan issue. But the Democrats are hell-bent on making it one because it's part of their grand design. First, Joe Biden and the Democrats allowed over 10 million illegal immigrants to invade our country. Now they're opposing efforts to prevent these illegals from voting in federal elections. Don't just take my word for it. Democrats' House leadership has launched a united effort against the SAVE Act. And the Biden administration came out with a statement against this common sense bill as well. If illegal immigrants are not voting in our elections as Democrats contend, then why are they working so hard against this bill? It's no secret what their motives are. And it should be alarming to every American, regardless of their politics. And by the way, there is evidence out there that shows non-citizens have been on voter rolls and voted in U.S. elections. While Democrats work for illegal immigrants, House Republicans are going to continue to work for the American people. Our message, again, is simple. American elections are for Americans only. And with that, I turn it over to our leader, Steve Scalise.
Thank you, Whip. It's interesting to watch the Democrats right now expressing disdain over Joe Biden's performance at the debate. Let's be clear, first of all, the reason so many people are recognizing that Joe Biden did so poorly is because President Trump did so well in the debate. President Trump actually articulated how we can get this country back on track, how we can get back to a place where under President Trump we had a secure border that we no longer have. We had low interest rates where people, a first-time home buyer, could actually afford to go buy their first home, which we don't have today. You could go to the grocery store and actually buy all the things you needed for your family and still have a little money left over to fill up your car because gasoline was less than $2 a gallon. President Trump knows we can get back to those days, and that's what President Trump talked about. And then the President Biden that so many people saw, frankly, is the same Joe Biden that we've been seeing for the last 3.5 years. The White House has been trying to cover up for a lot of his failures. But everybody up here in this town that's interacted with the president has known for years that this is the Joe Biden that we've all seen. And then the whole American public got to see it on display at the debate. In fact, if you go down the hall right now, the Democrats are literally behind closed doors talking about jettisoning, throwing out the votes of 14 million Democrat primary voters who chose Joe Biden to be their nominee. Think about that. The party that loves lecturing people about democracy is in a smoke-filled room trying to throw out the democratically chosen nominee for president by the Democrat voters. 14 million of them said they want Joe Biden to be their nominee, and Democrats are openly talking about discarding all of those votes and picking somebody else behind closed doors. No wonder when you look at all the Democrats that are abandoning Joe Biden that he opposes a bill that says illegals can't vote. I guess he's looking for additional votes since he doesn't have his own party's votes anymore. But passing the SAVE Act is important to ensure the integrity of the vote, because every American citizen ought to know that when they vote, their vote is not going to be nullified by someone here illegally voting when they're not supposed to. Why not have a safeguard to ensure that only American citizens vote in America's elections?